Hey everybody and good morning. I'm Quamay and thank you for joining me for my portion of Mindful May with Glow. Okay. Today is a super special share for me because if you know anything about me, like mental health is one of the big reasons of why I practice. And I just want to lay down before we get into the movement. I've been super passionate about backbends, as I always am. I feel like I'm always passionate about backbends, but more specifically, camel pose. So I want us to work through a few poses that's going to help us open up the body and prepare for camel. And what that's going to mean is that we're going to do a few things for the shoulders, a few things for the front of the hips, but more so feel supported or at least more supported in our back bends in the practice today. Secondly, anxiety is very big for me. I don't know if you've ever felt being in front of the camera, but you could imagine, right? And my yoga practice has been a tool that supported and aided my mental health and anxiety for so long. And I just want to share a little bit of the things that has helped me in hopes that it may help you in your anxiety. All right. So real simple, real quick. Something that helps me kind of get into the deeper layers of anxiety is just to have a definition to kind of help us characterize what our anxiety is. Right. And if I remember correctly, Webster, anxiety is this feeling of unease or dread for anticipated events, right? So the yoga practice is asking us to work in a way that we're not attached to the fruits of our work or the fruits of our labor, right? So in other words, we're not worried about what comes after the work we do. We're just going to focus on the work that we're doing. Okay. So when you're ready, join me in down dog. Okay. So hands on the mat, tuck your toes, lift the hips up and back behind you. Okay. And then simply as we get into it, I just want you to start to feel into what you're feeling, feel into what you're feeling, but feel more so the sensations of the body that are really apparent right now. Okay. So for some of us, it might be the work in the hands. And if that feels nice, spread the work. So you want to open up the fingertips, press through your knuckles, spread the palms. Okay. Same thing. If you want to feel it a little lower into the feet, feel that you can spread the toes on the bottom half. Feel that the balls of the feet are a little more grounded, but using all these access points as a place to just feel what's going on right now. Okay. And as common as it might be to be in the head, just notice that you have these tools, you have these tactile sensations to ground your focus, right? And when you're ready, you're gonna inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Good, and then bend your knee towards the long side of your mat. So open up your hips slightly to the right, and if it feels good, bend your knee, roll the ankle, and flex the toes, okay? But I want you to feel, if you can, you're opening the front of the hip, or at least you're making space front of the hip. So for me, I kick that right leg long, and that feels a little more engaged in that right leg to get into that hip. If that helps, give yourself a try. Give it a thing. Give it a go, right? And then when you're ready, inhale, right leg up and back. Good. And then exhale, step right foot in between both the hands for low lunge, okay? So back knee is going to come down on the mat. And then do me a favor, bring your body back over that back knee, so much so that everything's a little more stacked. So you got your head, your shoulders, and your hips over that back leg. And then take your front foot a little more to the top of your mat. Good. Okay. Now, for a quick moment, you're going to take your left hand to the left glute. You're going to engage your glute muscle so the back of the hip is firm. Okay. Now, keeping that, kick down through the top of your back foot, lock that work in. You're going to take your hips forward and down to stretch front of the quad. Okay. Now, for a moment, if you can, just re-engage that back leg. But if you want to go a little further, take your front foot a little more to the top. Okay. Wherever you go, like I can feel that you can determine your own length, but you're feeling that support and work in that back leg and back of the hip. Okay. Now, for any amount, arms over the head. All right. Take a big inhale, stretch towards the ceiling. You might go back if that feels good. Good. And then as you exhale, take your hands to the mat. Down dog, step back on your front leg. Nice. Okay. So real simple, just pulling your attention back into the feelings, right? In these little spaces in between, I feel for me, the mind can escape. It likes to, okay? So just back into the body. Inhale, left leg. Good. Bend your knee, open up the hip, okay? And you want to try to be like so focused on that feeling, right? So focused on I'm opening my hip that my mind doesn't have that space to kind of jump around. All right, stretch that left leg, move in those big circles if it feels good. And then inhale, left leg back. Good. Exhale, low lunge. We step to the top one more time. Okay. So back knee down, right? Do yourself a favor. Come back so much so again that you're stacked. And then you determine the length with that front foot. So again, if you want to go for it and you know where you're going, as far forward as you like. Okay. Right hand, right glute. Feel that the back of the hip is engaged. And then kick the top of the back foot down. We lock. Okay. Keep all that in. Hips forward and down. Good. All right. And then just feel this feeling that we're not like sinking into the hips, but there's this feeling of engaging to lift up, like you're pressing down to lift higher. Okay. Arms over the head. Inhale. Right. Stand for the breath. So you're going to inhale, kick the floor away and squeeze to lift. Good. Exhale all the way down. Down dog, hips up and back. Okay. So last thing, and then we come forward for salutations. Okay. Knees down onto the mat. Good. And then set up for camel. So if you're familiar, you're going to stack your body over the knees or stand tall on knees. And then have knees be a little wider than the hips, just a little bit, and let the toes touch. Okay. Now, before we go back, you're going to take your fingertips to your bottom ribs. In a sense, for a moment, instead of like splaying here, we want to use a little bit of the core. So bottom ribs come back and in, and then feel with the ribs, you're going to lift up. So the sides of your core are a little longer, okay? Keep that. Same thing you did in low lunge. Squeeze the back of the hips. A little bit of press through the top of the feet, okay? Hands to your lower back. You can even bring the hands to like top glutes if that feels good, okay? And then inhale, lift the chest. Head drops back, a slight back bend. And I'm not asking you to go for your deepest camel today. We're gonna come back into this a little bit later, but find a space where there's some work. And then without being too extreme in your work, like engage all the stuff you felt in low lunge. So kick the top of the feet, squeeze the glutes a little bit more, and then bottom ribs in, but lift the heart up. Good. Feel that work. Take one more big inhale. Look up, look up, look up. Good. Exhale, come all the way out of it. Nice, y'all. Pause for a moment onto the heels. All right, take a deep breath in. Smooth, relax, exhale, let that go. Good. Okay, come forward onto the hands. Down dog, lift the hips up and back behind you. Okay. So last little bit in down dog before we step forward and we get into our flow. So feeling what you got to feel, I just want you to move your body in the best way that responds to what you need. Okay. And then when you're ready, bend your knees, look forward. And then slowly walk your feet in between the hands, come into a forward fold at the top of your mat. Nice, y'all. Okay. So once you're there, just practice how to release for a moment, right? Like feel this feeling that whatever effort is in your body, you got some space to kind of let go for a breath or two, right? So if you can, shake your head a little yes and no. That might feel good to soften around your neck, right? You could also sway, right? So upper body a little bit to the left or right. Feel that release in your spine, right? Feel that letting go in your back. Same thing in your hips. So bend your knees a lot. You might take that into your legs and hips a lot more. But anything to kind of open up and make some space. Like that's the vibe right now, right? Open up and making space. Good. If it feels nice, release with your breath too. So open your mouth, stick your tongue out. You can like, right? Like all the things that feels good to just release, release, release. Okay. Now, when you're ready, inhale, halfway lift, right? And for today's half lift, take your arms back by your sides, right? So a little bit without the hands to help the back work. You're going to lift the chest a little higher than the hips so the muscles in the back have to engage a little more, okay? Keep that. Stretch your arms back, make a little more space around your neck. Take a big inhale, shoulders away from ears. Good. Exhale, forward fold, come all the way down and relax. Good, y'all. Okay, so as you inhale, stand all the way up, arms over your head. You're reaching towards the ceiling. And then exhale, hands to the sides of your body, we release. Good. Okay, now pause for a moment. And then notice again, right? Like anxiety usually is coming from the fear of the outcome, right? And for right now, you're just breathing. Okay, so without thinking about what's going on next, see if you can use your breath to just feel what's going on right now. Okay, so stand where you are, take a big inhale in. Exhale to soften your shoulders. And then just noticing that work if you're not aware of it, okay? Now, salutations, half salutations, just to pair some of that movement with our breathing, okay? Inhale, arms forward and up. Nice. And then as you exhale, forward fold, come all the way down over your legs. Good, y'all, okay? So inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, release and let go. Good, okay? Inhale all the way to stand and take your time, stretch towards the ceiling. Exhale, let the hands come down by your sides. Good, y'all. Okay, so one more time, breathe a little bit deeper if you can. Inhale, arms forward and up. Good. Okay, exhale, fold, but release around your neck. So find that space to let the head be heavy, heavy, heavy. Good. Okay, inhale, halfway lift, arms back, shoulders open. Good. Exhale, forward fold. We release and let that go. Nice. Okay, inhale all the way to standing. Take your time, stretch towards the ceiling. Nice. Exhale, release, and then find some space to let go around your shoulders and neck too. Good. Okay, one last time. Arms up, inhale. Nice. As you exhale, fold, but feel the arms are heavy. Everything gets a chance to like relax. Good. Inhale, half lift, arms go back, open up the space around your neck. Good. Exhale, forward fold, we're letting go. Letting go, letting go. Good, y'all. All right, inhale all the way to standing. Take your time, stretch over your head. Nice. And then exhale, let the hands relax by the sides of your body. Good. Okay, last one. Sun A, just to get back into down dog, okay? Inhale, arms forward and up. Nice. Exhale, forward fold, come all the way down and relax. Nice. Okay, inhale halfway. Exhale, hands on the mat, step both feet back. We're gonna pause plank, right? Now, for a moment, if you need it, you can let your knees come down to support your plank. But if you can take your hands a little more underneath your shoulders, like open wide, but push the floor away and round your spine to the ceiling, okay? Keep that work. You're gonna take a big inhale in. Exhale, come halfway down. Good, okay? So up dog, inhale over the toes, lift your heart forward and up, shoulders away from your ears. And then exhale, down dog. Tuck your toes, hips up and back. Nice, all right, so slowing down for a moment, you wanna gather your attention and just pull yourself to what's happening right now. Okay, and again, the yoga is teaching us or asking us to not be so obsessed with the result or the outcome of our work. So if you can just feel for a moment, what is the work you're doing in your hands? What are the works that you're doing in your legs? Staying with that work, not too focused on what comes after. Right, when you're ready, inhale, right leg up and back. Nice, and then exhale, step outside of your right hand. We're gonna set up lizard, right? So right foot outside the right hand, back knee comes down on the mat. And then do me a favor, your front foot, we're gonna exaggerate the width a little bit for lizard. So take your right foot all the way over to the right side of your mat, and you're gonna turn the toes off. So your foot is on this like 45-degree angle, right? So the ball of your foot is off, toes are off, heel is on. Both hands come to the inside of your front leg. And then my personal preference, release the top of the foot to the mat. If it's any complication in your ankle, you can tuck your toes, that's perfectly fine, okay? But you're gonna kick the floor so much so that the knee lifts up for a moment, okay? Now with that moment, we're not gonna stay here forever with that moment. With that work, you're gonna engage your glute muscle like you just did in Low Lunge, and then feel that you can sink the hips a little bit lower, but lift your chest a little bit higher. Okay, so chin away from chest if you can feel for that. Take a big inhale, kick the floor. Good, exhale, back knee down, okay? Now, moving a little further, your choice. If you have a strap, you can hook that around your foot. Giving you this work, even without the strap, this is perfectly good. Bend your back knee and then create this effort of like heel pulling into glute, okay? If you can reach back and catch the foot, catch the foot. But similar to what you did when you were kicking the floor, you're gonna kick into your hand, but with the hand, we're just resisting that kick a little bit, okay? So feel that active work in the front of the hip, lift the heart up. You might look over shoulder, okay? Take a big inhale, big inhale, big inhale. Good, exhale, release the back leg, okay? Now, both hands to the inside of the front foot and then just walk that front foot back to the middle of the mat, all right? Low lunge one more time, arms over the head, stretch towards the ceiling. Nice, okay? Now, from here, for a moment, check with that back leg that you're practicing low lunge the way we started. So if it helps, left hand, left glute, you squeeze, all right? And if it helps, finger to the bottom ribs, pull everything in, okay? Keep that, interlace your fingers over your head, take a big inhale, stretch up, and you're gonna go slightly back for a back bend. Okay, now, wherever you were in Camel, you can find that same work. Again, it doesn't have to be 1,000% right now. But if you want to challenge it, go a little bit deeper, right? We have more back bends to do. Don't feel like you got to get it all right now, okay? Take a big inhale, lift the heart up. Nice, exhale, come all the way down. Down dog, step back on your front leg. Good, y'all. All right, so from here, inhale, plank pose. Exhale all the way to the mat or halfway down. All right. I'm going all the way to the mat for Cobra. If you know up dog and down dog, you should know. We just did it. All right. Come back in down dog. We all meet back in the same spot. Nice. All right. Imagine you forgot that quick, which I mean, it happens. We have a human mind. Inhale, left leg up. Good. Exhale, step left foot outside of your left hand. All right. Back knee down. I'm saying human mind like that's crazy. Human minds are really intelligent, but our intelligence sometimes does a lot. So left foot, way to the left side, okay? And you're gonna turn your foot off so the toes are off, heel is on. Both hands to the inside of your front leg, top of the foot or the toes tucked, lift the knee. Good. Okay, now with that work, engage your glutes. So you want to squeeze the back of the hip, but let that kind of drop down in the front of the hip so we're making space, okay? Heart up. And then just imagine you're making space from the front of the hip all the way through your neck and chin, right? Open. Take a big inhale. Exhale, back knee down. Good. Okay, now your choice. If you're working, which to me, this might be a little more challenging, but you're again, it might not be for you. Who knows? Heel in. Keep engaging, like pulling heel in, like you're trying to get your heel to touch your butt. Left hand reaches the foot. If you want to approach it this way, active, a little more concentric, but we kick. Both are good for the hip, okay? Open up the chest, roll the heart open. Good, take a big inhale. Exhale, release the back foot, okay? Now, left foot, you're walking into the middle, all right? And then from here, arms over your head, low lunge. Okay, now, if you want to take a moment, you might just stay here and breathe. If you can feel that you can check the boxes in the body without feeling it, you don't have to. But for me, I'm a fan. Squeeze the glute. Good. Bottom ribs in, and then lift through the sides of your body, okay? Keep that, interlace your fingers if you haven't already. Take a big inhale, chest up, and then slightly back, okay? And again, you might go a little further here, but I want you to feel like the goal today is to not crunch your lower back. So if you're going deep, go deep, fine, but stay lifted, okay? One more inhale to pick the chest up. Nice, all the way down. Down dog, hips up and back. Good, all right. Stand for a breath. If you wanna flow, you join. If it feels better to pause, extend your breath here, okay? Inhale, plank. Exhale, half or all the way. Up dog, cobra pose, inhale. Exhale, down dog, hips up. Nice, okay, so again, whatever's coming next, I got you. Let me worry about that, right? But right now, we don't have to focus on that. What are you doing in your hands? How are you breathing? And can you keep that focus on what's going on right now, okay? From here, inhale, right leg up and back. Nice. Exhale, step right foot forward. All right, now, high lunge. So you're gonna keep the back leg straight this time. All right, and then hands come to the heart just so we can sit up for a moment, okay? Now, similar to what we did in low lunge, you're gonna get this back leg strong, right? So bend your left knee. And then from here, if it helps for a moment, left hand, left glute, engage the back of the hip, okay? Now, adding on this little detail, take your fingertips, front hip point on that left leg, and then feeling with the knee bent that you can pick the front hip point up. So you're lifting that front rim of your pelvis, okay? Keep that. Straighten out the back leg, drive the ball of your foot into the floor, okay? Strong in the back leg, arms over your head. Okay, now you have some options, okay? If you want, left arm underneath right, you're gonna take eagle, okay? Eagle, getting a little deeper into your shoulders for your back bend. You're gonna push the elbows forward and lift the arms up. If this is complicated, don't force this, but you're gonna take a back bend. So either you keep your eagle or release the arms back to the sides, right? Take a big inhale, lift your chest, and then slightly go back, okay? Now again, not at the expense of just crunching in the low back, but drive through that back leg, squeeze through your glutes, lift with that support of your bottom half, okay? Take one more inhale, lift and look up, a little bit more. Good, exhale all the way down. Y'all are amazing, good. Step back on your front foot and we flow. okay? And again, if flowing does not feel desirable in the body, this is why we're paying attention, right? This is why we're listening. So without just like, I'm gonna do the thing because there's a thing to do, you might need to pause, okay? Left leg when you're ready, inhale left. Good, exhale, step forward, high lunge. Back leg is straight. Good, and then that heel is up, taking a moment with the hands on the heart, okay? So same vibe, back knee, little micro bend. Okay, right hand, just to feel that the back of the hip is engaged and supportive, and then fingertips to the front hip point, okay? Keep that, lift the hips up, strong in the leg, push the floor away. Nice, okay, now, same vibe, like if you can see, I'm like already inching my front foot forward, but low lunge, if you wanna take some length, give yourself that length as long as you're squeezing back leg, okay? Arms over the head, and in any amount that you can, right arm underneath left, eagle, okay? So, shoulders open, good vibe, big goal, right? So you're gonna push the elbows off the chest, and in any amount that you can, lift the arms up, okay? Now, we keep this, and you either take the back bend with your elbows in eagle, arms at eagle, or you release, arms over the head. Okay, if your arms are in eagle, think about that same sensation of like arms off chest. So if you're going back for a back bend, I always like to think about elbows to the ceiling, right? I'm trying to push them up towards the sky, right? Take a big inhale. Good. Exhale, come all the way out. Unravel the hands. Down dog, we step it back. Nice, y'all. Full flow, right? Or pause if that's what your body needs, okay? You just want to get really good at figuring out what your body needs, just as much as we're trying to be really good at figuring out what our mind needs, right? And our mind doesn't need to be focused on the next thing right now. All right, so that's why we got the body stuff. All right, take one more big inhale. Good, exhale, bring your knees to the mat. Good, okay, now setting up to take a deeper camel, okay? For me, back bends are never really about how far back you can go. It's always about how much we can lift and lengthen the spine to make space for our back bends, okay? So setting up the same way, knees a little wider than your hips, and then toes touch behind you, tripod base. If that's my personal preference, if you rather like parallel legs, that's also good. I just want you to have options, okay? So before we go back into it, same thing we felt all class. Fingertips, bottom ribs. Sense for a moment, you're drawing bottom ribs in and you're lifting ribs up. So the core is active, okay? And then keeping that, hands to the top of the glutes, like waist kind of vibe. And then feel that the glutes are engaged, hip points lifted up like we just practiced, okay? Keep all that, tops of the feet into the mat, take a big inhale, lift the chest and chin, and then exhale, drop back for a slight bend, okay? Now, I want you to find where your work is. And then where your work is, I just want you to pause for a moment and re-engage. So if you get to your work and you just like, I'm going back, there's no rush, right? Don't focus on the next thing. Just focus a little bit more on what's happening right now. Engage the glutes, re-engage the bottom ribs down and in, and then pick the heart up. Now, if you can keep all that and you still have space to reach back for the heels, take the hands to the heels for a moment. Good. Okay, now kicking through the tops of the feet, you're still engaging all of that stuff. So press the hips forward, a little bit of lifting those hip points, and then picking the chest up, take a big inhale. You might look back a little bit. Good. Hands to your lower back, bring your body up, pause for a moment, sit onto the heels. Okay. Now, I want you to take some space, but we're gonna go back into it for like a few more moments because I feel, one, we don't have a lot of time, but two, we don't spend enough time in yoga poses to kind of get all of the benefit, you know? So I feel like if we would have just did camel just once, fine. But the fact that we have some opportunity to do it again, we have some space to kind of create a little more depth in our pose. So setting up one more time, and there's no rush, right? When you feel good, come up onto the knees. All right, and again, we're just using this to be a little more present, right? So even though you know we're doing another one, right now you're just standing on your knees, okay? Keeping that focus on your presence, right? Bottom ribs, you don't have to do all the checks, but just feel. Bottom ribs in, hands to low back. Feel that the glutes are engaged. Feel that the hips are a little lifted in the front, okay? Take a big inhale. Exhale, go back. And maybe you find a new spot to work, or you're back to where you were before, and that's fine, okay? But wherever you are, squeezing from bottom to top. Tops of the feet onto the mat, engage the glutes. Lifting through the hips, but also lifting through the heart, okay? And again, we're not just trying to go back for the sake of going back, but if you can lift your spine, think about how much space you can make in your spine. Take a big inhale, lift the heart, look back if it feels good. And then exhale, come all the way up. Nice. All right, find a seat onto your heels for a moment. We pause. Good. All right, just taking a breath here in this pause. All right, deep inhale in. Exhale to release anything extra. Nice, okay? Now, sweep your legs to the front edge of your mat, okay? And then just last little bit of work, wrapping everything up. We did so many back bends, so many. We did a few back bends. I'm exaggerating, like we've been here for a whole hour doing a bunch of these things. But we're gonna do some forward bends just to kind of balance everything, okay? So real simple. Bend your left knee, take your bottom leg across the mat, and then right ankle on top of left knee, setting up for a fire log setup if you're familiar, okay? I'm gonna turn towards you so you can see. Okay, so if you're anything like me, hips, if you haven't gotten a chance to like get deep into them, this right knee is high. If that's the case, don't fight it, okay? You can simply just right hand, right knee, give yourself a little bit of weight. And I'm not asking you to push, but just letting it be weight. Okay. If this is perfectly fine for you, again, you can start to take your hands forward. And even if you're here with the hand on the knee, you can start to make your way forward, right? Left hand forward as well. But you're going to take a forward bend. So crawling the hands out in front of you, all right? Heart is lifted a little bit, so your spine is long. And then hips back. Give yourself a space to kind of come forward. Nice. Okay. And then just sensing for a moment that, again, what is happening is where the focus is, right? And usually when you leave your mind up to its own devices, it's going everywhere else, everywhere. Just sense that this work in the forward fold, or even if you feel it in your hip, like that's grounding you into what's happening now. It's how you practice being present. All right, take a big inhale in. Exhale, walk the hands back. Nice. Okay, switch your legs. So top leg is now your bottom leg. Bottom leg is now the top. So again, shin across the mat, left ankle on top of right knee. All right, and then again, if this is up, we're not forcing. Okay, hand can be a little bit of weight. And this is another example of like, you're not focused on the outcome. You don't want to be here immediately, but you're accepting of the space and you allow yourself to kind of be open to the work you have to do now. Okay, right hand forward, or if you're taking both hands forward, start to crawl the hands out. Good. All right, hips back, heart forward. Nice. And I think this tool of presence, I think we use it a lot in meditation, Buddhism. But presence, I think, is one of the best tools, not the only, but one of the best tools to just help an anxious mind. It's hard to be anxious about an anticipated event if you're focused on what you're doing in the moment, right? Take a big inhale. Exhale all the way up to a seat. Nice. Okay, now, comfortable seat. We have a little less than a minute to fully rest if you have just the time today. If you have a little more than a minute, I would want you to give yourself that. But close your eyes, give yourself these last few moments just to settle down from practice. All right. Let your hands be in a place where they're not actively working. And then let your body be in a space where there's no excess tension. Good. All right, as we wrap, there's a quote that I always come back to that I just love. And I believe it was Eckhart Tolle, and he says, the past is a now that has already happened, and the future is a now that hasn't happened yet. And it's what we do in this current moment that determines both, you know? And I think that's just a beautiful way to remind us that whether we're anticipating the future or we're dreading something from the past, whatever it might be, that all of that stuff is just another present, you know, like it's another present moment. And all that we can do to just make sure that the future is fine and the past is fine is to just worry about what we're doing right now. And if that doesn't give you any relief of anxiety, keep practicing. We keep doing our yoga, okay? Thank you for sharing. Thank you for practicing today. And I hope you got everything that you needed for your yoga practice, or at least something. All right. I'm grateful to be able to share with you, and I'm just blessed to have this opportunity to to be in your space. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Can't say it enough. Namaste. Happy Thursday, y'all.